Yo,
What's good?
Live like that.
Let's do this.
A lot
Let's
of people
do
on
this.
the watch party. Oh, hold on.
Akeome for all my people listening. You know what I'm saying? Happy New Year's. Hope everybody's New Year's was phenomenal. I know mine's was crazy. At Sky. Jeez.
Absolutely.
Still recovering from that, and that was like last week. It was last week. Yeah.
So what?
This past week, right?
Yesterday?
I'm tired. See, I'm still recovering. I'm still recovering. Man. Hey, so let's do it. Jump right into it.
Yeah, we're gonna start by R. Kelly, right?
Oh,
Gosh.
Yeah, we gotta go controversial.
Really? We gotta go there that fast?
Yeah, we just started.
We're smooth into things.
No, we're not smooth.
He's not smooth at all.
No, I'm not smooth at all.
Not smooth
I'm
at
never
all.
smooth.
This man said he
When are we
said
gonna
it-
stop
he
talking about
requires
this,
game.
man?
Come on.
Huh? I invented this, dude. Webmaster.
Go ahead. Start it off. Let's go.
Oh, what are we talking about?
R. Kelly.
Oh, we talking about R. Kelly?
Are we
You
really?
said
What
it.
you want to say about this man? What hasn't been said already?
Why everybody hating on R. Kelly though?
He pissed on a
Oh my
13-year-old
God.
girl.
Like 15
It's-
years ago.
It's not even a matter of we
It's-
hating on him. It's
It's
just
15
like
years. It's the king of R&B. What
The
are you talking
time?
about? You can't hate on the king of R&B.
15 years ago, today,
see
it
me
doesn't
live,
matter.
I'm rolling my
13 years
eyes,
old.
right?
If that was your daughter, you would go after him.
At the time. Man, it's 15 years. It's 15 years.
At the time, no, 15
So
years.
does that mean that you're okay with it, like now? I mean, what does that mean at the time?
The past is the past, man. Like the next day. You know what I mean? After I don't take care of business.
So what are we?
It's a
okay, so what
forgiven.
are we taking?
It's
of
all
what
forgiven.
happened 15 years ago? Like,
are people still hating on him? Is that what the thing is?
Yeah,
Like,
that's what the whole documentary was about. The whole Lifetime
sorry, I
documentary.
didn't watch the documentary.
No.
I
I
didn't
haven't
give it any
watched it
time of
yet.
day. I'm sorry. No. Enlighten us, please.
Oh, it's about his past transgressions with females. You know, so it's about their stories about him and actually it was like one backup singer telling a story about him and Aaliyah having sex on the tour bus when she was like
when
50,
she was 13,
15.
15. Okay, because 2 years makes a big difference.
Still not.
Well, I mean, they
Still not legal.
Look, they
legal at all.
legally
Not even. What was the state
no,
that he used
they're
to have them
legally
come into,
married.
like, Louisiana or something like that to
Yep.
No,
to
but
make them legal.
but they was legally
It was
married, so
either
it doesn't
Louisiana or
matter.
Alabama. I don't know. It was somewhere. It could have been
It
West
was
Virginia.
rape
They could have been
15
cousins.
years
Shit.
ago.
No,
Thank
it's
you.
how
Thank you,
how is it rape if she's married? I mean, she's consenting now.
At 15
I feel
years
a ding
old,
coming
and
on soon.
Yeah.
We gonna have.
Are we gonna have
switch
this
to the next
conversation?
one.
Are we gonna have this conversation again?
We're gonna have to switch to the next one real soon. So what's your point with R. Kelly? Like what? Like
He's still the king of R&B, so he's good.
I don't
there's
think
no one.
anybody
There's
is
no one
questioning his
undoubting.
ability.
There's no
Is it
doubting
from his
that. There's no
transgressions?
doubting
Yeah,
that.
definitely are. Definitely is.
There's no doubting his status in the music world. Like yeah, I give him credit for that. I wouldn't say necessarily the king.
I
I would
wouldn't
say
either.
I would say
Nothing.
there's people out there that are definitely contender for that. Like
Ooh,
man, you could bring up Marvin Gaye. You could bring up the Temptations. You could bring up Sam Cooke. I mean, those are classics.
yeah, there are classes, but not the king.
Isley Brothers. Come on now.
You talking about groups? You named like 2-3 groups.
No,
right
Sam
there.
Cooke is one person.
Yeah,
Marvin
Sam
Gaye
Cooke,
is
Sam
one
Cooke.
person.
But Sam Cooke wasn't really R&B like that.
It
He
still
switched
doesn't
over to
matter.
gospel.
It
He
still
switched over to
doesn't
gospel.
matter. I don't care
And
how
so-
talented you are.
And he switched over to gospel because he got caught.
R&B derived from gospel. Let's be real.
yeah.
And he switched over to gospel because he got caught cheating anyways.
No,
That's
I
what he's
don't
doing.
think that was Sam.
So
That
So what
was
are they? So
that was
what is
I think
the
that
whole
was
point
Al.
right now
I
of
think
the
that was Al
documentary,
Green.
aside from women talking about what happened, the women talking about what happened or his life. Where is he at now? Like, is this like a?
He's about to come out with a new album though.
Oh,
too.
so is this what this whole media thing is about? That they're
I mean,
gonna
it's
push
driving-
his.
It's driving his new album that's coming out like next week.
Man.
I mean,
You know,
the same thing
I'm done
happened.
with
The same thing
subject.
happened with Chris Brown. I mean,
Yeah.
Chris Brown was about to unleash that last album he had out, and then they had a little documentary on him, and everybody forgave him for the whole
Yeah.
thing with Rihanna and blah blah
This
blah.
is free
and-
publicity.
That's all it
Like,
is.
what better way to bring up a
And
subject?
his Spotify is going live though. Like, going silly right now.
I can't even.
How old is R. Kelly?
100.
He's like 50 years old, man. Let's see how much it-
He was
look,
30-something.
Look, like
was
all good
15.
kings, you either need to step down off the throne or just get assassinated, like all the Caesars. Just let it. Just
You said they get assassinated. Come on now. It'd be a riot if he got assassinated.
Some
Come on
kind
now.
of coup needs to happen.
No.
That's all I'm saying.
Crazy king R&B.
Yeah, crazy.
I was having this conversation earlier today, and the person that I was having it with said, oh, well, nobody crucified Michael Jackson for sleeping with little boys. And how quickly we forget that, yeah, he was pretty much.
He was his reputation was tarnished.
I want to know.
I mean, he's a king of pop, though.
Documentaries together though.
And what was the intention
How
behind
many
it?
other people in the limelight are actually
doing
this? Still violating women, women, doesn't matter, drugging them and all that. Who's backing up these documentaries? Like you said, it's free publicity.
It is. It's free publicity, and
and that's just media. That's just a target and seeing how.
They're
how
saying,
media
hey,
isn't scrutinized enough for just going after people like that's kind of like one reason why I think going into the whole celebrity life is like it's really not worth it.
Right.
You start your life out and then you get to that limelight and then
you're still gonna be a celebrity.
Your shit is just broadcasted. I mean, everywhere.
I don't care.
You can never live down from it. Obviously,
I'm an open book.
What is it like?
All my
It's just like a
transgressions
live
gonna be
Jerry
out, like,
Springer show.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna walk a straight line, then you don't have much to worry about, right? But if you're gonna be shady and try to do it in within your career, and exactly,
I
and
think half the
shame
time
those who like
I think celebrities are
covered their eyes
coerced
with
into
their-
it though. I think they're like, hey, look, you need some more some publicity. Go have a scandal with this person. I think.
Man, it sells,
You know
man.
what's even
Guess
more
what?
upsetting is all the people that saw what was happening and didn't say anything and didn't speak up for Aaliyah and didn't speak
Like
up
the
for
backup
other
singer
women. Yeah, and the manager and all that. And
It's true.
On the tour
what
bus.
about all those other people?
It's kind of crazy.
I'm just saying, R. Kelly, shout out to him.
So-
Cool, you still doing your thing, but you old man. You need to come off.
He is the king of R&B
Sorry,
though.
bro.
Shout out to him though.
So
Keep it real.
should we read the comments we're getting? 'Cause
I guess
getting
I'm the
some
one
comments.
that's not a
Okay,
fan.
yeah. Read some of the comments.
So
Come
one
on,
of the
I wanna
comments
hear
it
what they
says
gotta
is,
say.
This is pretty sickening listening to folks being apologists for raping minors.
Exactly.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wait, read that one more time.
Who said what?
They said this is sickening.
Yeah, it's pretty sickening listening to folks being apologists for raping minors.
I agree.
I agree.
Okay, media. I
Because-
see who your new target is.
Right.
I agree though.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely. Absolutely.
dang.
We
that's
should
real.
not. We should not be apologetic. No, it happened. No.
So it's a
Rape
lot
is rape
harder
regardless of
to
age.
come out and stand up for the unpopular opinion. So I saw John Legend post about it, and he said, "Hey, I came forward, and I didn't care that everyone was going to basically crucify me too for coming forward." It's
Wait,
rape.
John Legend raped someone?
No, he came out to stand up against R. Kelly with the women.
All right, cool. Still like you, John Legend.
So we talking about the
You threw me off for a second. I was
Fucking
like,
morons.
No.
You forgot the fucking moron part. That's just a comment.
it's
Yeah.
it's just a definite look into seeing how people that have that celebrity status can just get away with it, because we already know, had it been any regular John Doe, that motherfucker's going to jail and staying there.
Well,
for a
you know
long,
what?
long,
And,
long
and
time.
another subject that was brought up in a conversation I was having was this is happening every day in families. Like this is happening in, Uncle
Yep.
so-and-so's house and Auntie so-and-so's house. And so a lot of people have a lot to say, and yet they're holding on to these secrets at home also. My argument was, you know what? If we're going to exploit this situation, hopefully it's for someone to hear it and say, you know what? I'm not going to tolerate this anymore, and I'm going to come out and talk about it as well and get those people off the streets, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it is sickening. I am not going to promote it anymore as far as a conversation, because think about what we're doing, right?
To our next segment.
Next subject.
Thank you, next.
Next.
Sorry, I closed that real quickly.
Next one. What you got? Oh, you want me to go? Okay. But hey, shout out CC. I see you in there. Sierra on there. City on there. Everybody on there.
Well, I was
Let's bring up the love languages, y'all.
Love language.
yeah, that's a little lighter tone. That's a little lighter tone.
So the question was,
Oh no, you got me panicking. I'm good.
What is this?
Are
I
people
still got
familiar with their love language and how they can use this for themselves and their partners to resolve some of the more common struggles in relationships?
99% of
Brought
people
to you
do
by
not know.
yours truly,
That is right.
Wednesday Writer.
That's right.
So
like,
touch on it. What's
how
up?
do you? So I think I don't even remember what we were talking about that or. what I was talking about. The whole subject of the love languages, it's a pretty popular thing. You can look it up online and just take this little quick. Right there. Yeah, there's books. There's tons of stuff. There's love language for teens and whatnot.
For teens.
Yeah, love language for teens. Understanding how to relate with your teenager and understand their love language so that you can build a really strong bond and attaching relationship. And so it's the same for couples, right? And here's how it works. So I know my love language is quality time and touch. Like I'm very touchy-feely. I love hugs, and I love quality. Not sit next to me with your phone time, but real quality time.
Like and cuddling and stuff like that.
Huh?
Like
so you a Netflix and chill.
Yeah.
Yes.
to dumb it down, you're a Netflix and chill kind of person.
Yes, absolutely. I could. Yeah. That is a good date for me.
I'm like Netflix and chill too.
As long as there's food involved.
There's quality time. There's acts of service, right? So like if your girlfriend is super happy when you make dinner, which is one of your things with your wife, right?
Yes.
There's gifts. So like someone who enjoys receiving or giving gifts. And then there's two types of languages, right? Your own and then your partner's. And they can be different. And so if you're trying to love your partner in your love language and that's not their love language, then you're missing the mark. And you're like, how can you not appreciate my good pasta when I'm like pouring my heart and soul into pasta and you're like, okay, this is pasta. See?
Yes, so, that's what I'm saying. It's just pasta. I'll be...
Yeah.
It's not just pasta. Shit was handmade, goddamn. No,
somebody be outside.
I like that because, like, I think for me, definitely, I'm a touchy-feely person, and the whole acts of service, like, because actions speak louder than words. So if I see you doing something more, I don't know. That's what speaks to me, and I'm pretty sure for my wife, it's the same thing. So because every time I do cook, she's like lit. Not like that. Not like, Granted, behind the bar too, my own personal bar. Yeah, she likes the alcohol in me too. So, yeah, that I think she's probably more of a touchy-feely person. Because for me, at times it's like, I just want to chill. Just
give me space.
Give me a little bit of space.
Right. Yeah, and there's like words of affirmation. So if you're the type of person who likes to hear, wow, that was amazing, or dinner was just so delicious, you really, rocked it tonight, or wow, last night was amazing. Whatever.
Ego driven.
Something like that,
Everybody's ego needs to be stroked.
Absolutely.
Some way.
And so you need appreciation for everything that you do, honestly.
Yeah. That's gratitude. Like if your words of affirmation is your love language, feeling a sense of gratitude.
Do you think that a lot of our individual love language is attributed to our relationships with our parents?
That's a really good question. I think that we learn love language with our parents, and it starts really super early on in utero, I think, and definitely during attachment and bonding as soon as you give birth, within those first 3 months, and then so forth and so on. Right,
because I would say like for myself, I learned how, being that my father was always gone, he was in the military, to get those words of affirmation from him sometimes, father to son, that was like very important, or to see him at a football game was very important. But then at the same time, like looking at my mother, noticing that, hey, dad's not there, it was like, well, she just needs quality time. So me and my sister were like always there, like, okay, we're not going anywhere, we're going to sit here, chill with you and watch Guiding Light and General Hospital, even though I really didn't want to watch it. Yeah, I had to watch it.
General Hospital.
I had to watch it. I remember them episodes.
Terrible.
Yes.
I was like, I used to have to watch that too at 2 o'clock.
With Top Ramen Noodles, man.
Right.
It was the thing.
It came on at 2 p.m.
Yes.
Seriously.
I remember.
Like
right after that time, yo.
From that, though, it was like, okay, a lot of that from them, either not getting it from them or giving it to them, is what I kind of took for myself and what me and my wife had to go through. Right. So that's kind of weird that, that kind of plays out like that.
Well, I really think that we learn our first relationship from our parents,
yeah.
From whoever the parental figure is, right? So, I have 2 teenage daughters, and I tell them all the time, I am your practice for what you're going to do.
Exactly. That's the first place that you're going to
right?
learn, because
Absolutely.
if you don't learn it there, then you're just going to grow up and be some incompetent adult.
And then they go out and learn stuff from their friends.
Here's the funny thing, though, like because that example is still set forth,
I'm sorry.
You still have people that don't exactly absorb everything that they got from that example, and they still come out.
They need to go into the
little
journey
fucked
of
up,
life.
you know, like some
Right.
people are like I've met certain people, and then I've met their parents. I'm like, yo, your parents are fucking awesome. Like,
I'm the
they're so
opposite of my parents,
transparent
though.
and they're so real. How you get so fucked up? Like,
Right.
I'm
Yeah, I
what
get that
happened to
too.
you? Like,
But see, most of the times parents actually get that chance to grow while
Yeah,
you're out there
absolutely.
being a F up. So when you come and start introducing your friends to your parents, they've already had that time to grow, and you're now in that stage where you're learning what this love is or how to relate to other people, basically.
And you know, when you get to that age and you start to rebel against everything your parents taught you, assuming that you know you're in a loving, supportive environment,
Yep.
and you start
wish
to
my parents would
experiment.
tell me what age that was.
What-
I would like to say I was a pretty good kid.
18 with that age.
And you go out there and you test, right? You start to test what relationship is like for you and what love feels like for you, and then you start to define, you know, oh wow, that's what cheating looks like. So that's what I'm
It's the
going
journey
to
of
decide
life.
about that. And
The journey of life.
and then there you go, boom, you become an adult and you have all these ideas and concepts of relationship.
You want to know one
25.
thing that's weird is, you know, like you bring the subject of cheating, and not to come off the subject, but like for me, since I know my parents never cheated on each other, they were tight. For me, it was like when I cheated the first time, I was like, "Hey, did I cheat? I don't know. We not married, so does it count?
It doesn't count.
Nah, I don't think it count. Like,
don't count.
I mean,
I'm
but
sorry, I'm in that same boat.
that's all it was. Like,
Does it count?
me and La we were talking about
We
this.
had a
We were talking
conversation about this
and
the
it
other
was
day.
like, if I'm not married to you, you know, like,
Well, here's
Where's the
the question,
boundary?
right?
where's
For me, here's the boundary. Did we decide we were going to be monogamous? Did we decide in any point in our relationship, whether we're a couple, whether we're dating, that we're going to be
those
exclusive?
exact words?
Well, I think I posted something about that.
Because, you know, for me, there's more at stake here. It's not just about you going off and cheating, but if you go off and cheat and then you come back to me and you bring me some disease or some crap like that's the stuff that's behind, like, in the back of my mind. If you go off and cheat on me because you want to get your rocks off, I can deal with that. Like, hey, go get your rocks off. Do you, but don't come back to me, right? Like, I'm good. But if you go off and you go do something stupid and then get some disease and bring it to my home, like bring it to my home, my body, ooh, that's some fighting right there. I feel that. but
I
if
think
we
the
decide
most
we're going to be
important part
exclusive,
is like taking, like, is if we were exclusive.
Then it has
Or-
to be said.
Yeah, I would say for.
Laws,
if that's
like,
the
it has to be
case,
said. It has to be said.
if that's the case, then when I was dating, I would say I really only cheated once.
You never cheated.
I,
man,
if it's on the case of are
King.
we exclusive or not.
Did you hear what he said?
Yeah, I'm not paying attention to him. I hardly ever, because
He's looking to fight tonight.
yeah, who done said some shit about you already? Oh.
He ain't never.
Yeah, no, don't
never
slide
cheated.
it up. But no, I think, yeah, honestly, if I had to look back when I was dating, I cheated once. Once.
I don't think I ever.
Lying ass.
Not confirming or denying anything.
But I
like it.
But I mean, like,
You like it?
I would
don't confirm,
definitely
don't
say
deny.
I would definitely say, like, one of the
Yeah,
reasons,
yeah.
you know, many people say there's always a reason, like, from the guy's point of view, oh, you know, I got a reason for it. I don't really think that there's
It is a reason. if
an
you do
actual
it.
justification. There's no real justification for it. You can either dumb it down and say, "Oh, it's because we got into a huge fight," or whatever the case. You can
There's a
say,
reason.
You can say
I
that.
disagree with you on that one.
Yeah,
definitely.
I disagree.
100% on that.
There's a reason.
It's always a reason. Always a reason.
How about you're just living your life,
that too?
And you know, for me
That's
too-
still a reason though.
Yeah, that is a
but you never
reason.
stop. Like everything that you do every day is your everyday motion.
Right.
I'm going through this.
I
This
never
is
claimed
my
you.
life. This is La's life. This is my
That's-
my
that
rumba.
that was my thing. It's like I'm living my life. Like, granted, at the time, you know, with the individual I was with, we did get into a heated ass argument, and
That was a
it was
reason.
one of the. That's not a justifiable enough reason. Like,
Cheating is not. I'm lost here.
no,
Cheating
no,
is
no,
not
no,
a
no,
justifiable.
no, no. Like
Wait, rewind.
getting into an argument with a person is not a justifiable reason for cheating.
Oh, no.
Because you can just, it's a matter of just communicate it, talk about it, see, like, where the difference of opinion is. You don't always have to resort to, or you shouldn't resort to, oh, I'm gonna go freaking bang this other person, just, no, despite you. That's not a justifiable reason Like, if anything else could have been met, then it could have been met instead of trying to cheat on a person.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes you don't have to try. Sometimes it just falls in your lap.
It's very true.
Wait, what? What falls in your lap?
Him or her. Him or her, you know?
This is a really good topic because I think, we're starting the new year. A lot of people have all these New Year's resolutions, and a lot of them have to do around the relationship. Mm-hmm. And when I think about this whole idea of cheating and whatnot, we had talked about this in one of the other shows, which was, what about just being honest? Like, how about you just be honest that you are with a person, let's say you're in a relationship with a person, like, why are you in the relationship in the first place if you're not ready to finish sowing your wild oats or whatever? Or is it that out of circumstance you got into this relationship and here you are 19 years later married or whatever, 10, 5, 3, and you come deep. Well, yeah, and you come into the conclusion, you realize you have this revelation, like, yeah, I'm not ready. Like, I'm done with that. There's a part of me that you and I are no longer connecting. Mm-hmm. Why not just be honest and move on?
They don't know their love language.
Well, that's one. That is one.
Not only that, but people, like, in the heat of that moment, they're not really clicked into why I'm not, attracted or wanting to be with this person. Like, if I had to go back where I'm at now and go back and be like, okay, why did we get into this fight? It was back to the fact that I didn't like the fact that she could not communicate with me. However, at that time, it was like, oh, you just fucking frustrate me. Oh, oh, man, fuck. I need to go do something.
When you have that revelation, is it possible to just get to that point and speak to your partner and say, hey, we're not clicking intellectually anymore. We're not, Dorothy. We're not there anymore.
I think that's very much possible.
This story reminds me of.
What?
How does that remind you of the Wizard of Oz?
Yeah.
My thing is, why cheat? If you're even thinking about being with someone else, then at least give me the courtesy to end things with me first. I agree. Thank you.
That's a comment. That's a mature thing.
So I got a comment. It says, my thing is, why cheat? If you're even thinking about being with someone else, then at least give me the courtesy to end things with me first.
Because I think for a lot of reasons, people still want to be with you, but they just want to have that inside of you, like, you know what, you pissed.
And they want to eat it.
I was about to say that's like easy said than done.
It's really selfish.
Like, that's like the mature
and
thing.
we as humans are naturally selfish.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of how high it escalates sometimes. I would
really
say
selfish.
I want to say give me the courtesy, because so let's say that we have hit all the wickets of what makes a really good, strong relationship, right? And we're married 10 years and something falls off on the wicket. It's okay. It happens, right? Because I have very, very close friends who've been married for what feels like an eternity, and they've gone through the process of someone had cheated, and it's painful, and it's a lot of learning and growing from it, but their marriage is sustained.
And it's better now.
And very strong and bonded, and, you grow and you mature and all that stuff. I think marriages or relationships that start off with having hit all those really strong wickets can go through something like this and survive it. I think relationships that are formed out of reasons outside of those wickets, right? The attraction of all things, looking at your partner and thinking I could be with the same partner 10 years from now. The attachment that you form, that bonding, that, that click that you can't even really describe. And all these other things that I think about. Then if you're missing in that, then that's where if someone cheats in a relationship, that's where it doesn't survive for me. For me, though, please give me the courtesy to decide. Like, if you are interested in somebody else, tell me, so that I can process that, and then I can decide, what? Is this something that's going to really break us or make us?
Now, here's the thing. What if it's not necessarily the person being interested in someone else? They just have just an inkling of a thought, like, I want to go fuck someone else real quick.
And that thought comes into reality, and you go and fuck somebody else?
Yeah.
No, they let you know. They let you know. They're like, I'm not. It's not that I'm attracted to this person and I want to be with them now. It's just.
Yeah, it happens. It happens, right? And so if you have a relationship with a partner
those fantasies
that you can have that conversation with and really explore where is that feeling of wanting to go screw somebody else, if you can have that real raw conversation, you'll get to the root of that conversation, you won't have to screw that person.
There's thought for you people.
Yeah,
y'all listen.
That's food for thought right there.
That's a
food
big
on your plate.
And then sometimes cheating will happen and nobody will know, right? And you hear I have to tell. Well, who are you telling, for yourself or for the other person? Who is it going to hurt more? Because right now they don't know.
But see, here's the thing with that, like because I was faced with that, like when I did my cheating, I knew she wouldn't have known. Like there's no question about it. She would not have known whatsoever. Really so I told her, and I decided to tell her. Out of the pure fact of wanting to be honest. Like, that was one thing we had always agreed upon was to be honest.
Well, I've been on the other side of that, and honestly, I don't care. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. Go do what you got to do and get out my life. That's it. So I think that's one of the things that scares some people with commitment sometimes, where they're like, well, I know you're going to do something with someone else anyways. Unless we're married and we live in the same household, then why are we even playing house, or why are we pretending here? We're just getting to know each other. I'm trying to get to know your vibe. You're trying to get to know my vibe, and that's it.
Don't play house.
Yeah, basically.
I don't do that at all.
See, but I think like you're revealing your truth in that when you know that person is completely oblivious. Like, let's say you go TAD or whatever on vacation and something happens and you come back. That is about you purging your feelings of guilt on someone that is, now you put that person in a position where.
You're talking about going on TDY. I miss what happened.
They go
vacation.
Going on vacation.
You paid attention to the wrong variables, my dude.
And again,
what?
And it goes back to how strong is that relationship? Are you able to
and they do something, right?
Risk that? I mean, it's a risk. You're purging your feelings of guilt, and you're also risking the strength of the relationship. I know couples that have really survived that, and they're super strong, and
again.
That should be like something kept in the back of your head.
Someone did cheat on me, called me up, and was like, yeah, so you remember that girl I was telling you that I was going clubbing with? Yeah. Oh, yeah, you remember how she was having issues with her situation? Yeah. All right, we slept.
Those issues, huh?
Yeah, we slept together. Oh, okay, so is this going to be an everyday thing? Like, what's going on? Or is it a one-time thing? So I asked if it was going to be a one-time thing, maybe it's something we could work through. But if it's not, then go ahead and get on it.
That's a bold phone call right there.
Wait.
So he called you up on the phone like that?
So retract back.
He called on the phone.
This was gonna get juicy. So honestly,
we were in different countries at the time.
Honestly, when he told you that, you were still kind of like teeter-tottering. Maybe we can work this out, or was it just like, you know what, he did it?
Something like that, yeah. Okay, so when he said he cheated, I already predicted it because of the different locations, for one. For two, the honesty, the openness that we had with each other. He had already talked to me about this female, so I knew she existed. I knew that she was talking to him as far as getting advice on her situation. So he was kind of playing that mentor. And
mentor.
Her face says it all.
I was like,
the mentee wanted to stay for some extra credit.
The mentee needed some right, and I told him actually a couple of days before the incident. I said, "Hey, you should maybe not find yourself in private situations with this person because I think she might lift up her skirt for you."
Right? We
know.
That's it. We intuitively know.
You said it like that though?
Yes, I did. And he was like, "Oh no, I'm not gonna let that happen." And then he called me out and was like, "Oh, by the way, yeah, you were right. I was catching feelings for her, and I let it happen."
Alcohol talk.
That's what kills me, right? So, like if we come to you and we say, "Hey, like, are you being unfaithful?"
If you have the intuition, you're still teeter-tottering on.
Sure.
Is it worth it keeping or not, or you're just like, you know what? Since I know it's gonna happen, nah, fuck you, you gone.
I didn't say "fuck you, be gone" until he said, "No, I'm actually going to try to make shit work with her."
Well, then of course, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, obviously. But I'm saying, like, the minute he brought it up.
Well, the fact that he brought it up was good.
Like,
no, TJ. It doesn't.
Okay, all right. I just want to get that. I just want to get that clear.
There's a lot
that all women are not like that. So
no, if you are in a like she said, the relationship was really open. It was honest. It had a lot of components.
That's because y'all faithful like that.
I mean, you gonna knock all the camera.
No, that doesn't mean no. But you know what? I think what really kills it is that I don't know how this works for men, but I think a lot of women know when you guys are off. I think we know. And here's what I say. If I come to you and I say, hey, I have this inkling that such and such is happening. I want to know. Tell me, be honest with me. And you straight up lie to my face, man, that breaks a serious bond for me.
I don't think it's that. We're saying like it's not happening. It's just because we're so damn simple. We're so damn simple-minded. We are truly blind to it half the time.
You're blind to cheating?
No, not blind to cheating. Not blind to cheating. I mean,
in my boxing gloves.
I'm saying blind. Like she's saying, she's warning him, hey, this is going to happen. We're blind to the fact, oh, no, that's not going to happen. We're not going to let that. Because it's not registering for that time being.
And then when the moment happens, when it's right there in front of you, you couldn't say, holy crap, she did warn me. Let me just step back and have a conversation with her. Or are you just going to jump? No, it doesn't work like that for you guys.
For mine was different. Like the time that I did, there was it was already me and my significant other, we were arguing back and forth. It was heated. And it was just like, you know what? At this time, we're both heated. We're arguing. We're mad at each other. If she gave an intuition, I wasn't trying to hear it. But at the same time, my mindset wasn't, oh, I'm going to go freaking fuck whoever. Like,
Minty?
Be careful. Be careful with your mentee.
Yes.
For me, my situation was
T-shirts.
I went drag racing. And I met up with an old flame. Like I saw an old flame there. We met up and it happened. Like, bam.
It's really interesting. I don't know if it's because I'm older, but I'll have conversations with men that will say they absolutely love their wives. They love their wives. They're in love with their wives, and yet they have been unfaithful. Unbeknownst to the spouse. And that just blows my mind. Like, I wish I could get to the next layer of conversation and say, talk to me about that.
Yeah, I don't talk to a lot of guys that's like that, working in a strip club.
Like, what is that about? Okay, you love your partner, you love,
No.
Like, you talking about customers?
Yeah, customers. I don't talk to customers that's like that.
Is that really being unfaithful?
Because it's a fantasy.
They think it's a fantasy.
Strip club. I'm talking
guys
that actually are, or like what she was saying.
That's just really interesting for me. If there's any men out there that want to chime in and make some comments on that, please do educate us.
I don't think it's a bad thing because, I mean, the house is still in order, so it's good. Still in order, man.
I lost words right there.
How?
TJ's like, dude, man, you're just killing me here.
I don't have anything to say right now.
Well, and then so culturally,
your
right?
house is not in order.
Yeah, the house is still in order.
No, it's not.
Well, how's the house not in order though?
How is it? How is it?
How is it?
How is your house still in order after
it's still in order.
After you doing what you did?
Provided for. The kids still getting taken care of. She just don't know what's happening.
It's kind of similar to if she was out there just
doing the same
around with different.
How do you guys feel about a female?
There's some internal demons in that house that are going on that you don't know about. There's some goddamn paranormal activities happening on in there.
It's not a traditional thing, a way of thinking of it, but
it's
still the house is still getting
in the Asian culture, right?
On a worldly scale, on a more worldly scale, yeah, I can understand where you're coming from.
Moral scale,
your morals. That's some fucked up morals.
That's not a moral.
So how do you guys feel about women being the ones that are the cheater?
Oh, I cut them loose.
Oh, so now it's easy. Just cut her loose.
Yeah, I cut her loose.
Why? What makes it so bad?
Okay, that's it. Y'all talk to him. I'll make my opinion later.
Make my gotta cut it loose.
What makes it so different?
Because it is.
It just is.
So who do you get mad at? Do you get mad at the woman for cheating, or do you get mad at the man who's cheating with the woman?
The woman. She made the decision.
What was the movie we were watching the other night?
Why did I get married too?
Because
I'm gonna bring that up. So Tyler Perry's character and his wife, right? So she was not physically cheating on him.
Emotionally,
yes.
That's still cheating.
Anyways, she didn't do the do. She was just.
But what did they do?
Dressing
But what
nicer.
did they do? They talked that out.
Yes, I saw that.
They communicated that out, and they made sure that their house was still in order.
Because they were hitting those wickets that I was talking about, right? Their relationship, the foundation of that relationship was built on something way stronger than
your house is not in order just because the bills are paid and the food is on the table and you think her heart is being protected. Like, back to what I was telling you about before. If you cannot honestly be the preacher, protector, provider for your significant other, and I'm talking to guys out there, Your house is not fucking in order. I don't give a fuck what you say. Your house is not in order. I don't care. Bullshit.
We're gonna agree to disagree on this one.
So then, King, that kind of goes into the whole conversation that's happening in the UK right now.
MGTOW.
Yeah, expound on that.
Men going their own way.
They say,
fuck all this shit.
Yes, they do. They do. It's really interesting. Go ahead.
Oh, no. Oh, go ahead.
No,
That's your subject.
Oh, my subject. Oh,
that's your baby. Go ahead.
Okay, so the MGTOW movement is more so like...
ghost.
Huh?
Going ghost.
Well, pretty much something
Off
like
the
that.
grid.
It's like what do they call it? It's misogynist.
So I have a view on it. He just shared with me this subject today, and I was just like, wait a minute, let me look at this. So basically, what is happening? There's this huge movement. This guy has like over 1 million viewers, and what he's saying is men are going their own way, where men are being overpowered by women. That the pendulum has swung. It's kind of like topsy-turvy right now. And so they believe that, you know,
Europe,
it's a,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think, yeah, it's
Go
a,
figure.
well, no, it's also in the States, and it's spreading pretty wildly. But I think it's an interesting twist on misogyny, just cloaked in a new cloth. You know what I mean? Like they're
anti-marriage.
They're anti-marriage. It's a combination of machismo attitude where the woman belongs beneath the heel of the man and not to be heard, not to be, you know, considered, and
This is all principles based
And then,
upon
like,
a man's spectrum.
Yes, it's fully
all-
100% man-driven, and you know they feel that
Their rights are being-
considerations are being given to men, that women are that they are now the victims.
Especially
They are
in the
being
legal system.
victimized.
Man is now the victim.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
are being victimized because women are overpowering and all these, you know.
They get
sound like a bunch
services
of
that
pussies.
guy.
Yeah, right. Like they're the ones that are women are the ones that are considered when we talk about rape. Women are the ones that are considered when we talk about, you know, finances, and it's just really insane.
Yeah.
For me, yeah.
And then some of the
Someone
language,
get them a bottle.
and they have like anti-trolling laws. I didn't know you had anti-trolling laws in the UK. That was actually brought up in the video too, because the guy, he was trolling one of the feminists. That was in the video.
Yeah,
And he was calling her, he's like, I'm outside of your house. And he said he would rape her. And that what got him thrown to jail.
But this is like a huge movement happening right now. It's insane to me.
And the guy actually
So
justified
what's
the leader.
the basic moral principles?
That, and I just got a
don't really
short
have any?
clip of it.
Is that what you're saying?
Well, the
That's what it
challenge
sounds like.
is that it goes against the moral principles and the fabric of what we know as to be the norm, right?
of
Okay,
feminism.
so-
it's like the anti-feminist movement.
But the
For-
way they're
for
going
now.
about it, it's
look at
kinda-
what the moral principles are of feminism. It's not saying that women have to set out to conquer the world. They just want their rightful place. And I'm not speaking and saying
Equity.
I'm defending them.
It's just equity.
It's
So-
exactly
so
what you said.
this
Is
group
equity.
Yeah, that group
goes
is
against
it's
that.
all
This
all the
group
principles.
is absolutely against equity. That's
Yes.
all it is.
Yeah.
I'm not for it.
Not
Like-
not just against equity, but so the guy came out of this whole workshop, the one that was videotaping, and he said, you know, this is being represented by the meeker of the meekest men, and I found that really interesting. And King and I were talking about it, and I said, is it the man who isn't an alpha, isn't a beta, doesn't really have a place in society, and still was viewed in society one step above women, right?
At
And
one
now
point,
he
yeah.
Just
can't.
because he had an appendage between his legs.
Exactly, and now he can't see that because the shift of power and all this
That's
other
his own
stuff is
fault.
moving.
And
So
then a
I
lot
just
of-
found that really interesting.
A lot of hurt relationships. And,
So it's a lot of it's a lot of nerds in
Very,
this.
yeah, very big. No, don't say
I was playing because I'm a low key nerd, so whatever. I play
Yeah.
chess.
I was
and
gonna
like
say the
that.
same thing. I was like, it's a
I
lot of
play
guys-
chess and I like
it's like
that.
a lot of guys that don't
Yeah.
get.
But it's just
Don't
really
get cheeks on a
interesting,
regular
right?
basis.
The whole shift.
That's what it really sounds like. It's dudes
I'm
that,
going
you know,
in.
they got.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like. You know, when you think about it, the first thing you think of is like the little dweeb you used to throw paper balls at. You know you didn't really like him. You
Yeah.
throw a ball, a little paper
You couldn't
ball
get no
at your
cheeks
head.
in high
But
school.
in the chain, in the chain of command, men were still, even those guys saw themselves one step above women, and now you can't say that anymore, right? With all these changes
Men
going
going
on.
their own way.
Yeah, really interesting. I'm going to research it a little bit more.
I think some men in the group do have certain things that they fight for, they advocate for. One thing that I read about was the legal system in custody cases.
Yeah, they talk
Those
about
cases
that.
favor the mother when
stuff like that.
more than half of the time, sometimes the father does need that voice. They do need that justice in the court system, and the court system is not designed for the father. Let's see, the criminal justice as well. Charges.
Yeah, they were talking about the false rape claims and guys.
False
They're a lot
claims
harder.
or crazy ass women that actually do set out to kill their husbands.
So I would just be careful
Like
as far as
understandable.
categorizing yourself as a man under that group.
Yes.
Because of everything else that they stand for.
And they have different subsections of the group too. So they have that whole movement, but then they have like groups that.
It sounds like it's a lot like Black Lives Matter that just went out of whack and went into so much more.
Or feminism at that. Like, honestly, I
'cause-
wouldn't put myself under either title.
Because when you look at a lot of these movements, a lot of them start out and their foundations are based around the moral principles that are is gaining good media and it's actually better for the individuals that are about the movement. But then once media kind of puts it out of whack, everybody's looking at, let's add this to it and add that to it. And
Right.
before
Roads
you know
have
it,
been paved
it's not the original
with
recipe.
good intentions.
I'm over here talking about food.
Original, always your metaphors. Your metaphors are always about food.
I am a fat ass at truth. You feel my belly. I need Starbucks.
Man, I'm looking at
So
myself.
talking about like
Right.
equity
It's kinda
and
crazy.
equality between men and women, one of the questions that I had was, what is the relationship that men have with money? Do they see their do they equate their money to their sense of worth and value? What is the relationship men have with finances?
Greed.
Let's hear this,
Power.
man.
Greed and power. I mean, unfortunately, men equate a lot of their worth and their success to how much money they're bringing in or how much money they're even worth, and that's a sad thing to say. Like,
I do.
unfortunately,
So the more money you make, the more value you will have of yourself.
Yeah,
the more value we believe we
feel
have.
on myself,
I would say the more value we
brings
believe
more
that we
confidence
have.
to me.
It brings you more confidence.
So
It doesn't necessarily bring me confidence. If anything, it brings me worries. If anything, because I've dealt with businesses where
and I had to cut.
I've brought in a lot of money, and you find yourself having to cut a lot of people off when you don't have a lot more money. It's like, you know what, you get to see a lot more true value in an actual person and what they're bringing to you, like what ideas they bring to you, what worth, just from them that they bring to you, and establishing who you are as far as your character. And that's like,
that's the worst.
It sounds very commercial to say, but I think once you've been to a certain point in your life, especially as a man, where you've hit rock bottom, and you understand that money is not the only thing right there that holds you up. You have to lean on other individuals. You have to lean on God. You have to lean on just people that are gonna bring that value to your character. That's when you find out like what your true worth is, just in this life at least. But unfortunately, a lot of men do not do that. They equate their success to the amount of money that they're bringing in.
Amen.
They can get from there. So in relationships, how is that? I'm single, so it's been a while, but how are finances managed in a relationship nowadays?
That's a good question.
There's women are earning their own money. They're coming into relationships a little later than traditional, right? Getting married a little later, establishing their careers first. And so how is that transition happening with regard to finances in a relationship?
I still don't let females pay for anything for me, though.
So
You're a
you're
dying
still
breed.
chivalrous right there? Wow.
I would love to stay chivalrous.
Yeah.
I've always
However-
been that way. I mean, like since I came out of the house, well, I see my dad doing it, so my adopted.
I think that's what it is.
So-
It goes back to that love language.
Yeah, like-
see your parents do it.
I never had a female pay for anything.
So how does that work
Well,
in your
at least
household,
not
like in your relationship?
They pay for my clothes and stuff sometimes.
Well, yeah.
But that's for different reasons.
For my household, me and my wife, like I say it a lot, me and my wife are a team. So it's not that I don't want her to. It's just I'd rather her not. And I'd rather, it goes back to what I said before, being that preacher, protector, provider. Like, I want to be the one that provides for her.
Right.
However, understanding that she has her own dealings and equity as a woman in herself and what she wants to do with her life professionally and personally, it's like I fully support that. So some nights, you know, it's more like, it's kind of like a game. Like she might go to the waiter and kind of already pay for the bill, and I kind of notice, I'm like, oh, you snuck off to the bathroom, quote unquote. Yeah, whatever. You paid the bill. I saw what you did. Or, you know, vice versa. I'll do the same thing. But when it comes to like finances in the house, like bills and stuff, like all that matter, like I think it's important to honor your spouse and what they want to contribute to the relationship. If they want to, allow them to. That's how they get the dealing of like responsibility, especially when you talk about couples that are starting out and they're starting out young. Like me and my wife, you know, when we first got married, we were both in our 20s. So it's like we're young, you know. We both have our own individual selves, but we both know what we want to contribute to the relationship.
Do you guys have that conversation, that like, what is your relationship with money conversation?
Our biggest thing is understanding that the biggest things that ruin relationships will not be the thing that ruins our relationship. Like, it's hands down, you know, if me and her ever got to that point, it would not be anything about finances. It would not be anything about kids. It would not be anything that's irregular and a mundane that you see in every other relationship. Like, if we have it our way, death is what splits us apart. That'll be it. Like, not to make it sound that graphic or whatever, you know, but I mean,
it sounds like
in a sense, like that's exactly
good
that is our which is weird because my wife's Okinawan, so every other female I've had communication issues with in the States, it's like, the fuck was wrong with you? Like, you speak English. I'm married to someone else. You ever notice that? No, I'm just playing.
It's the cultural difference.
But
No, I never had that.
honestly, like any other woman that like English is not her first language, had a good time with, no problem. You know, we went our separate ways.
So how does the
mutually.
communication work then? If
Intently listening. I love to listen.
Yeah.
I think that's probably
That's a key
my
word right
biggest.
there. That's the best.
That's my biggest thing about me.
It's easy to
is
say listen, but what does listening mean? 'Cause
like
You listening
absorb.
with your
So
eyes, you
not
listen with your
not
ears.
hearing, not hearing.
You listening.
Understanding and absorbing what it is that person is saying. Like, you're taking time.
well, you
okay,
said it intently. You said intently listening. That's
like-
a great
like
word.
I will be attentive as shit. Like, granted, I'm
That's like
a
how I coach
nitpick.
football.
I'm a nitpick for attention to detail. So like, I'm gonna take what you literally say and I'm gonna be like, all right, cool. This is what I'm transitioning into what I'm
And
saying.
see, when I listen,
You said this, so
and I like to repeat what
So
you
look,
There's
let
that
me
love
repeat
language
it.
we need, right?
Because I don't want any misunderstandings.
Right,
so it's
right.
like,
You gotta repeat
all right,
what you're
now,
saying, you know?
back in May 5th,
Oh, Lord.
2018, you said
pulling out the
I don't do that. I don't all that. See,
Because we tend to communicate completely. We think we're communicating clear as day. Like, you know,
That's why I
spend
gotta
time with me,
repeat it
baby. I
back
want
to
you to
you,
spend
though.
time with me. And you guys come and you sit with us and do whatever. And it's still not what
and
we
play your
meant.
video game,
Yeah, and
or
that's not spending
get on your
time
cell
with me.
phone.
And then you're like, but I'm
Video
spending
game.
Or
time
sleep.
with her. And she's not.
Like sometimes you really do need it. You gotta
That's how
break that
single
thing.
life.
If you
The
saying
hell is
spend
a
some time,
PUBG?
like
Like
For
getting
me-
a text
for
is not
me-
communication.
for me, it's like
Exactly.
For me, if you say spend time, I'm gonna be like, so what, you want to sleep in? Like, cause
Right, and that's all I hear.
we at our
That's-
closest right there. We cuddling.
No, that's not the
phone is
same.
off. You know, I don't pay attention when we sleeping. So you mean spend time like that? Like,
Yeah, you gotta be
serious.
specific.
Speak
See,
completely
that's why you
different
gotta
languages.
repeat it back. You gotta repeat it back.
it.
And make
That's
sure,
why, like,
you make sure you understand.
I
What
will
she's
say
saying
that,
at
like,
that time.
let's spend time. What do you want to do?
Do. That's
Right, and
Like,
and
let
so
me
that
know. You
throws us
wanna go out?
off.
What do
Does
you
it
wanna
throw
do?
you off? It throws me off because it's like, well, I don't want to do anything. I just want us to spend time. Like,
So-
So, you know,
right?
tell
So
me
you
what
see how
you
complicated
tell
that
me
could
what
get?
you
I'm
want.
gonna go to the gym. Check it. I'm gonna go to the gym.
While you figure it
While
out.
I'm at the gym for an hour, I need you to give me a list.
I'm gonna be so pissed then because I'm like, no, don't go to the gym. Spend time with me.
I think that's why a lot of men go to the MGT. They say, you
I
know
don't
what?
know what she wants. Oh my god.
Going my own way.
so true. So
But I mean, you can't get mad at us. I mean, that's the indecisiveness on both halves. Because I mean, that's like the simple thing of asking, "What do you want to eat?" Well, I don't know. Well, shit.
I know. I take responsibility for that. That I need to communicate way better, way clearer, very concrete when I'm dealing with the.
That's why I always ask the question.
If you say let's spend time, I'm gonna be like, what day? If you say Sunday, I'm gonna be like, we're watching football. Like that is spending time right there.
That is not spending time either, gentlemen.
Yes, hold on.
Yes, it is.
Sunday is a sacred day like that. You know what I mean?
No, I'm sorry. I can't
agree
with you on that.
So when let's get to that. Let's get to that. So when you say spend time together, give me some things like y'all talking about.
You're right. I take responsibility for that. I think we as women do not definitely need to communicate a little bit clearer with what is the intention of what we're asking for.
But here's the thing. Why do y'all bring it up on days that you know are sacred? Why would you say why on a Sunday specifically from the hours of such and such
1 o'clock to 8
when you know that like
you know I can't speak for everyone, but I would imagine for me it would mean like I'm watching you really enjoying and spending time with the television, and that is what I want for me.
So why would you
don't give me your Sunday, don't give me your Sunday, but
not on Sunday.
Is what I want for me.
We don't give it to you half the time y'all take it. I want you at 11 o'clock on Sunday.
No.
Babe, that's when the Redskins play. What the hell?
Don't
that's
care.
I'm flexible that way. I wouldn't ask that. I wouldn't ask for that. But come like
La looking like, yes I would. Don't you touch that remote.
Look. Matter of fact, we don't have cable. We don't have a TV.
That's why they got Firefox.
I know, right?
That's why they got the Firefox.
And they got YouTube Live.
Bring it with you. We out.
YouTube TV.
You go to the bathroom and be secretly on the phone.
I'll be right there on the phone.
Live play. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, babe, I missed you. What's
up? So I know for sure that some women don't always communicate clearly, right? How do you guys think you communicate?
We know I know I suck sometimes.
You're very clear?
Yeah, I don't even like using metaphors anymore.
So how clear are you with taboo conversations in the bedroom?
I'm very clear. Very clear. No metaphors here.
Explain.
I think I'm very chivalrous. I think I'm good at that.
You think you're good at that? We need to have your wife here.
I think she would back me up on that.
I'll tell you exactly.
Babe, if you're watching.
So what are some like conversations? So I was messaging TJ with things that come up in the middle of the night. And I'm like, TJ, what about conversations that we are thinking, or rather thoughts that we're having, but that we don't necessarily talk about when we're in bed?
I just whisper it in our ear, though. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm scared about what you're gonna say.
I want to know.
What kind of
stuff y'all be whispering
anything,
about?
right? You know, like hey. I know. So I know.
Hey, if I'm thinking about it, guess what? Let's try it. It'd be like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. Go ahead.
Oh no, me and wifey knocked the fuck out.
Nah.
Two.
No, but like just minor things, you know, like oh my god, everything from I wish he'd stop snoring to, you know, when is he gonna cut his damn toenails? I don't know, random stuff, all the way to
I'm gonna be talking
you know,
about
sexuality and sex, the sexual nature of the bedroom. I'm being so politically correct right now.
Well, you just say it though. You just say it.
Wait, where are we?
Go ahead.
We all adults around here.
Go ahead.
Say it.
You know, just like the things that. Okay, so you're making love with your partner, and you're thinking like
making love,
having sex, making love.
Okay.
I hope you're making love. What the hell are you doing?
Doing the nasty,
making love, having sex. Like, what do you call it?
Flixing after the net. There you go.
and
depends on what girl
and like
is.
you get like a blank face because your mind wanders off. Because women, right? We tend to be.
Yeah, we know y'all do.
Yeah, we're in our minds most of the time, and so it takes a lot of effort for you guys and from us to just be relaxed and be in the moment with our partners. And so, are those kinds of things talked about?
I would say after the nitty gritty is done, you know.
I know. I would
either before or after.
Because if I know eventually it's going to the bedroom, I want to know that this guy knows me and it's going to be a good time, because there's nothing worse than wasting your time going into the bedroom or the stairwell. Or
exactly right. Yeah, anywhere.
The stairwell came real right after the bedroom.
Or wherever you winds up. It just sucks when that person is not on the same vibe length as you. So clarifying all that beforehand is a definite.
Right.
Yeah.
And so what happens like if you think you are fully satisfying your partner and they're not? And you're like,
oh, it's talked about.
It's definitely have to be
is it
talked
really
about.
like, are men really having these conversations?
I
think so out of the
well,
game.
I'll
I
just
would
hand
say
him the-
again, like going back to what Lon said was like
The sleeve.
for me, like getting this
Like,
cool
go
over here.
handle yourself.
getting stuff like that out in the open is important. Like you wanna make sure that one, you're with someone that you can be transparent enough to tell that to them. Like if that's what you do, you like to bring that out, tell that to that person. You got to be willing to tell it out like to that person and make sure that they're comfortable enough to do it with you as well.
Oh, you're being in the shower handling.
Right.
Handling it.
Yeah.
Messing up your phone.
You guys are being
Messing
shy
up your
about
phone.
this whole class.
No, for me, so for wifey, she has certain things that she does when she sleeps. For example, like she grits her teeth, and it's not that it's annoying for me because I'm a light sleeper already. Like if I hear my dog moving around at night, who the fuck's in the house, like. So she has her thing with grinding her teeth, whatever. For me, it's worrisome because I'm like, are you okay? What are you dreaming about? Are you all right? What are you dreaming about? What, so I'll be like, babe, you good? You good? And
Put a mouth guard on her.
I'm like, all right. That sounded like you're okay. So all right, I'm gonna turn back over. I'm gonna go back to sleep. Or like for example, for this morning, like we both woke up. She woke up a lot earlier than me, and I understood from her like she stresses whenever she wakes up that early and it's not time for her to wake up. She's stressing. So it's like looking at her body language, kind of like, all right, well, what's going on? And it was understanding like, all right, I woke up good. She's got to transfer whatever it is her energy is to me, and I have to be willing to accept it, regardless of whether it be about me, whether it be about whatever, and make sure that she's having a better day. So, like, in a sense, taboo conversation can kind of be sacrificing, like for her, she was stressing about work. She's stressing about finances. She's stressing about this. I don't want her to go to work with that on her shoulders. So, shit, I ain't got nothing to do today. All right, tell me what you got. What's up? All right, bet. Cool. You done? All right. So I may not feel better, but at least she transferred the energy over to me, and I can just go in there, make her some breakfast, sing you off, you be good, and then she'll feel better for the rest of the day, and I got to let all whatever it is out from her that she gave me earlier. Yeah. So, and in a lot of ways, taboo conversation is really healthy. It's that transfer of energy from one to another.
Is there anything that women can say in the bedroom that would hurt your ego, that would hurt your male thinking?
I've had better.
I've had better. Okay, let's go right into it.
I never had females say that.
I was about to say, you're saying
I've
like,
never heard that either.
Because I've never had that.
Or rather, I've never said it.
telling me we can't.
I tried
like,
this before.
When you know, like, it's been a minute, and it's like, yo, babe, like, come on.
I'll tell
like,
female,
no,
yo.
not right now. You're like, you sit there and you're like,
it's been a week. It's been a week.
That does it.
Yeah.
I can see that. That's rejection, right?
Yeah.
I think for both parties, like even for women, if we're wanting to be loving, affection, and want to, do the nasty, and you guys turn around and
when it's a babe, let's fuck moment,
bump ugly,
and you're not down for it, it's like,
she not DTF.
Fuck, man, shit. Now I gotta
handle it.
Sit here with this, like,
it's not cool.
Yeah, man. It's a waste.
Do men worry about whether or not women are faking orgasms?
No.
Yes.
You guys don't worry. You don't worry about that?
No, I don't worry about
it.
Wow.
He had a fuck day. We don't pay attention to it too much because it's like you might be a good ass faker. It's like, oh, that sound effect, but whatever. I got mine off, so shit.
So you don't really
it depends on the girl. See, that's selfish. I gotta make sure she get hers first.
But that doesn't mean that she's getting hers, right?
No, she definitely gonna get hers before I get mine.
How you know?
Cause I know. It's just me.
The webmaster. Webmaster. Okay. I wish he had the button so he could just press it for you. Just stroke your ego real quick.
Actually, I got it right here.
What? Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Yeah, we worry about it.
You do worry about it?
We worry about it.
Are men comfortable with women Yeah, go ahead, King.
Oh no, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, what you was gonna say?
No, go ahead.
No, I'll say I don't worry about it. It's not me.
We just know he's not regular.
Exactly, I'm not.
So we know you're not a normal human being. You're an alien from outside space.
What the fuck is this?
What were we gonna say?
That's my train of thought.
I don't think guys do worry about it, honestly, because I feel like they go for what they want anyways. So
I think it depends on who they're with.
Yeah, I was gonna say it depends on the girl.
When it comes to the one you trying to spend the rest of your life with, yeah, you're gonna worry about it. When it comes to a one night stand, I mean, probably drunk, so we're not really worrying about much at all. Just we want to make
you're
it.
not always drunk for those.
I'm saying probably drunk, you know.
Yeah, I think men worry too. I definitely think women worry to make sure that you guys are feeling satisfied.
I just got 2 of them.
So do women really worry if the guy is satisfied?
I think so. And especially if it's like you said, someone that you have a meaningful relationship with. And it doesn't mean relationship like long time. It could just be a really strong bond and connection with somebody. If you care for that person, I think women would want to make sure that you're feeling, you know, a sense of satisfaction as well. We worry about all the same things in a lot of ways. Like we worry about whether or not you're feeling satisfied. We worry about whether or not we're tight enough. We worry about like all those taboo things that nobody wants to talk about. We worry about all those things.
They worry about
like men, yeah, women,
know that
and especially after like having babies. Right, because that can distort a lot of images for men. If they see their, I used to get that a lot where I used to work, where it's like, oh, I saw.
If that was the case, then the invention of the acronym MILF would not have been invented. Just saying.
Oh,
right, but those things are. I mean, remember, I'm asking like, are they talked about? Are those things talked about? You know, are you talked about whether like do you talk about whether or not you're feeling satisfied or whether or not you're hitting the mark. Because here's the funny thing, like women's bodies change throughout the month. And so last week you could have been hitting it really good and then this week it doesn't work. And you're like, what the hell? Like, why are you not excited? You gotta mix up your stroke, man. Right, so you gotta...
Different strokes for different folks.
It's not about your stroke, it's about
your
the woman's
stroke game
body,
gotta be strong.
Right?
It's about your approach, not necessarily the stroke every time. Sometimes you have to approach it differently. It might require more foreplay, maybe less foreplay, maybe a different type of foreplay, maybe afterplay.
A lot of
situations.
Or the shower.
Listen, that's stairway though.
These are things that, I think chip away at a relationship if they're not talked about and leave people with a desire to find those answers out with someone else. Cheating. Well, we're not going to go to that extreme, but it definitely is something that
I would say one thing that the mic is hot.
Yeah, it is.
What's up? Why the mic hot?
Change it.
Oh, this is weird. So I would say definitely for one degree of taboo conversation me and my wife had was when it comes to women that I dance with versus, when she's not there or when I come home, It's like, you dance a lot with other women. Da, da, da. I'm like, okay, well,
make you more
for me, it's one, it's exercise. I mean, hey, it's good cardio. 2, I love dancing. Like that's been a passion since I was little to now. I love dancing. So when it comes to, and I've noticed it. I've noticed it a couple times. Wifey has came out with me, and we've kind of both came with a consensus, like, we still dance with whoever we dance with. We still dance with each other, so on and so forth. And, like, I've seen her dance with a couple of guys before, and I'm like, yeah, I know he's much better than me. I don't get offended or jealous. I'm like, if anything, I'm going to take some notes, I need to use that move.
You want to dip her that way?
But at the same time, like, it has happened a couple times where she's seen who I'm dancing with, and she's like, we don't do that. I'm like, well,
you get offended.
We can dance more if, one, if you were home. 2, but we've talked about it a couple times to where, like, we've come to a mutual consensus that it's not always the fact that I'm dancing with someone else that's the reason why I dance with them like that. It's more so like, well, babe, I don't see you enough, and it's not your fault. That's just because you're a flight attendant, because this is what you do. Shout out JTA.
You get some free tickets on
You got to be family. Anyway, because of her job, because it restricts her so much, then, it's hard. But at the same time, like, that's where I come up and I'm still very humbling about it. I'm like, babe, let's go dancing tonight. You're not tired. Like last night, we went out. We went dancing. It was awesome. You know, it ended well.
Always end well.
In the stairwell.
It ended
The
well.
stairwell.
3 months later, 2 months later.
No.
Honey.
No.
60 days.
No.
60 days right
That's
there.
not
I see
gonna
the
happen.
fishes, boy.
There's nothing cooking in the oven. There's no fish in the sea. No.
That Okinawan water.
Yes, no kidding.
Nope.
The cake is
my
not
water.
bacon.
My water is filtered. Nope.
My water's
I drink milk. Nope.
Almond milk.
Right. Almond milk. I sure do.
Exactly.
Soy lattes. With chai.
Pump
Vanilla.
Vanilla latte. Anyway, but yeah, I mean,
Vanilla
it is
latte.
talked about. It's just, I don't say it's talked about in the bedroom too much. Like me and wifey talk about a lot. We've actually
So no
had a lot
pillow
of
talk.
we've had a lot of times where we'll just put on some music and it'll be wine and we just sit and we just converse. It's just
It's the best.
kick the dog outside and then we just sit and talk.
I'm gonna say,
And it's been a lot of random
You hate
random
pillow
times like
talk?
that.
Yeah, you're not gonna get that out of me.
King hates pillow
Don't
talk.
talk to me. Go brush
Yeah, if you
your
put me
teeth.
by a pillow, I'm
probably gonna go to sleep.
I'm out.
I'm probably gonna go
Like,
to sleep on
I'm
you.
a night talker. I want to talk at night.
No.
Like,
I can talk
I'm
at night, just
I'm
not
a
laying
night
down.
owl.
Talk to me like.
Don't talk to me in the morning.
That's
Me
the
and-
one time I
Me and
don't
La
wanna
talk,
to you.
okay? Me and her was talking for a minute, but if there was a pillow, I wouldn't have lasted. I was
Yes,
just
exactly. I'm on with you
knocked
on that,
out, man.
I mean, I'm
Mind you,
like,
we gotta
shit,
get another
like,
bottle of coquito.
Right?
She made it.
Did you drink it?
We drank all the night, girl. Yes. We went.
She funny.
Yes.
That was amazing.
Oh, we was drinking that.
I have
And
more
then
at
put
home.
on the
I'm trying to
movie
get
and
rid
we
of
was
it,
sitting there.
'cause
You got more? Hold
I
up.
do. I need to get rid of it because that stuff is like super, it's on my hips right now.
Ooh, it's on.
So yeah, I'll bring it next
Bet.
week because
We ain't gotta
or
wait
when-
till
yeah.
we ain't gotta wait till next week.
Saturday.
I have
Meet
like
you up somewhere tomorrow. We can get that
two
going.
bottles left of coquito.
Coquito.
Oh yeah. This shit is on point. I had like 2 bottles of them things last night.
So good.
That was.
And you
and you
add
put
that
And it
the-
didn't have
Myers in it.
It didn't have the
put
exotic
Nutella in
stuff
it?
either.
I
It was
did.
just like
I put Nutella in that
regular,
one.
whatever you
just
said
to
it was.
see.
Regular, right? Exactly.
was
I'm
good.
glad it was good. I'm glad you.
I was trying to find
I
a
mean-
vegan one though.
I mean,
Real talk,
I
was
probably
trying to find
spiced
a
mine
vegan
up a little more with some Myers just to give
Oh
that.
yes,
Yeah.
it was so good.
Yeah, I
Straight up.
like a
Having
splash of
flashbacks right now.
brandy on mine.
I woke up really good that day. I was, man.
No, that thing put me to sleep though, really good though.
Hell yes.
Yeah, I slept really well. I wanna
So, are there
try.
any truths that you've told while you were under the elixir of truth?
No.
That Laz laughing. La. Is there
No.
anything you want to add to that?
Actually, no. But I have.
You
like,
know
but
what?
I want to say New Year's. I heard a lot of truths
Well,
from people that was under the elixir and that I didn't want to hear. Let's put it like that.
Like you should worry.
Yeah.
There's been a couple times I've told a few women that I was very much attracted
That
to them.
truth serum.
Yeah.
See, I
The
never
way
got
told
the
them was a
liquid
little
courage
bit.
thing.
Nah,
I don't do all that.
I was very much lit. That one time I told this mass sergeant. Yeah, I felt bad. I was a lance corporal too. It was probably the end of my career if I really looked at it.
I probably would still told her.
I mean, she was very much attractive. We were in Korea, and we were all at the E Club.
you gotta
I told
shoot your shot, man.
I told her verbatim. Verbatim,
shot
you
a
are
brick.
gorgeous, and you can get it
You
anytime.
never know what's gonna
I
happen
was
though.
wow.
You did what?
I told her
Wow.
verbatim, you are gorgeous, and you can get it anytime.
Oh
and
my
then I was
God.
escorted
That's
out.
not romantic.
Hey,
mouth
whoa,
of
you
lance
you
corporal.
went
Let's
too
just
much.
remember, let's just
No, that
remember
was
you
too
were
much.
lance
You should have just like got the drink though.
Hey, but
You should, right?
I
He
wasn't
should've just
looking
kept
at
his mouth
rank.
shut.
No, you would have went.
There was no uniforms being worn. She was. I'm thinking she was like in her 30s.
How much did you
I'm
drink
like
that
26, 20.
You should have been a little bit more smoother with
We
it.
went through a bottle of Brugal.
Oh,
Alright.
So look, you would have been. Yeah, you would have been a little bit more smoother. You
I was
probably
nice
got
and
it though.
toasty. I was nice and toasty. It was
She
good.
shouldn't have held that
Yes, it
against you.
is.
If she was under the influence
But
of Brugal, she shouldn't have held it
But
against
you know what
That's
though?
right.
You
That
know what
is
though?
right.
I'm glad I did it because the next day, before I went to my shift
got
at
that
work,
what you
I went
do
to Starbucks
You got
to
that
get my
work?
latte, and she saw me waiting in line, and I was like, "Ah, shit!" And put my head down. Fucking, she didn't see me.
you
She
shot
was
the
like,
air
"Good
ball.
morning, Lance Corporal Slaughter." Good morning, Master Sergeant.
At the Starbucks.
You know,
At the Starbucks.
and she's like, "I hope you had a good evening." I was like, "Yes,
I
I
did.
did. I sure did." And it's like, it's not like I didn't know what I said. You know, people told me. And then she winked at me. I was like, "Ah,
Oh,
hey,
you got it.
that's what's
That
up."
lance corporal's ego.
Yes,
Right?
She stroked
my
that.
God.
She stroked that rifle.
I would have came right back at it, yo.
I was like, bet. Let me know.
Oh my goodness.
Let me
I was
know.
like, I would have been like, hold on.
Those
Let
last
me
couple days.
Let me go back up in there.
Oh my
Man.
goodness.
Good
Well, I'm
times.
out of questions. How was all my homework?
You had some extra stuff.
No, I didn't. What I did?
You had another subject.
What I did?
You did.
Anybody out there have a
about the
question?
homosexual thing, right?
Oh,
yeah.
that was a good question.
So if
Came
you're
out the
attracted
feed.
to
Transgender.
trans women?
Transgender.
Transsexual.
Does that make you
Okay. Gay.
gay? Yeah.
Right. So if it's a transsexual, then that means that they are anatomically correct for that gender,
Yeah.
right? Because they've gone through the surgery.
Yeah.
Does
So-
the guy know about this? Like that.
So
fact
the
that they
question
were
is-
before and now that they are now.
So wait, the question
Well,
is,
hold on.
if you're attracted to a transsexual. So the question is, if you're attracted to a transsexual, does that make you gay? Meaning
Yeah.
that they were in their
Homosexual.
prior to the surgery, they were the same sex.
Right.
All right, I don't think so. No, my answer is no.
Again, my question is like, does
No.
the male know
I think he is
beforehand? Does he know beforehand that the transsexual?
How he not
Well-
know?
Huh? Well, if it's a transsexual, then they are anatomically correct. Like they've gone through the surgery.
I'm saying, is he coming in
transgender
after
has
the surgery and all that? Is he like?
So if
no,
it's a
he's-
guy who wants to
seeing a
be,
woman.
Still not anatomically like correct though,
then it's a transgender.
because the fingers they don't get the fingers changed. So
What? Yes, they do. Like
do?
if it's a man who is now a woman, that gets converted into a vagina.
yeah, but his fingers are still gonna be the same.
They're still gonna
What?
look like male
Yeah,
fingers.
it's still gonna
Oh,
be
still
his
gonna have an
hands.
Adam's
I'm
apple.
thinking.
Yeah.
Still gonna have manly
Thinking about
hands.
fingers. No,
Yeah,
they,
and you
no.
can-
There's
Female
there's a lot of transsexuals that you would not even know
That's what I'm
because
saying.
of their
So
they go
does-
through hormone therapy. They maintain.
But their hands are still the same. So you would know.
You're looking at it from a different lens, though. Like if you're attracted to a woman and you're a man, then it's a hetero attraction, right?
Yeah, it should.
I
be.
think his radar would go off.
Yeah, it definitely would.
The
Though.
radar would still go off.
What
Yeah.
radar?
Well,
That's
depend.
that-
What
that's
if
that- the little
this
bit of
transsexual
intuition that we
had
do have.
feminine hands though, like the type of fine hands that you're used to.
I do
in
know
a
some,
woman.
I
I
know
do know some dudes
Plenty
that got
of
some
men who
small
have
ass hands, man.
small and smoother hands
yep,
than I
that's
do.
like-
Beautiful nails, great lashes. Like
No, I put their hands down on the.
You got male models
No, I
that
check it
specifically
out.
are
I
hand models.
definitely check it out though. Like 'cause when I was in the Philippines, I had to do this because the it looked like a female, and I'm like,
I mean, I know I got.
especially
I
in
know
the
I have a
Asian
palm,
culture
but,
where
you know.
where
Because
the
female
genders are so
Why are you comparing hands?
because
God, I can't even with you guys.
Female hands, right? If you look at
Like,
female
look at
hands,
my hands are
your-
a lot
your
more
hands is a
masculine
line,
than
so this would be
yours.
the same,
Well, no,
right?
that's
No,
not
it's
true.
not.
No,
No, it's the same.
okay.
That-
This one,
you
this
got
one,
small,
it's the
yeah.
same.
No.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right
it's,
now.
it's even.
Nah, yeah, nah.
Right? Female hands are even.
What? Where
And
did you?
male hands are not. So
But they're so
What?
soft, too, by the time.
yeah, so
Is this like a
moisturize.
scientifically
I
proven
moisturize.
thing?
Yeah, but I
It is.
moisturize.
Yes.
I used to be a mechanic and I still
Yo, so look,
moisturize, so my hands.
if he put his hands down, right? Bam.
King, this is scientifically
Yes,
proven,
yeah,
right?
you can look it up. So this hand and this hand, if it's not
This
even,
finger.
I noticed my finger. My finger is
I
like
need
inverted a
if
little
it's
bit.
uneven, right? That's
I'm gonna
male.
need this finger to come.
All female hands
that's
are
what I broke.
even.
You
It's not-
fingers.
it's
You're
not
talking about
finger,
finger
fingers
length.
are- yeah.
The index and the ring finger are even.
Yeah,
What?
Hey,
Mine
babe.
Just about.
yeah,
Oh
they are.
shit.
Yeah, they are.
No, like this one's taller than this one. See?
No, that's because this one looked like it's kind of like it's
yeah.
curved.
You
Forgive
think
us,
it-
Sean.
Okay.
We here anatomy 101.
I don't know about. I'm gonna have to research that.
Yeah, if you look it up,
I don't
it
know
is.
about
It is.
that.
Yeah, it definitely.
So if the index finger and the ring finger are in the same length, they're female. That's the statement.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to look that up, guys.
Yes, go look it up.
So
So
back
still-
to the
so the
question, though. Yeah. So like
I always
for the
check
male,
it out,
for
though.
the male, is he knowledgeable of this transsexual after the fact, or is he knowledgeable of the fact that this person was a man first and going into?
Oh, see, it didn't go in that deep in the question.
So why does it matter?
Because
It does
I
matter.
think it would. I
Why,
think it
why
would be
does it
hard
matter? If it's a transsexual, right? Aside from that, they can't have a baby if it's a woman. Why would it matter?
think-
If the orange tastes like an orange, it looks like an orange because it's a trans orange.
Then it's an orange.
But then there are tangerines.
You like oranges.
But there's tangerines.
Yeah, that's tangerines.
That's like saying
They're smaller.
That's like saying all apples are the same. You got Granny Smith apples, you got Fuji apples,
but
you got
they
sweet
are apples.
I can't believe
But they
you.
are.
Okay.
La, you see?
Okay,
You
wait.
feel my pain?
Wait.
Thank you for being here.
Okay, wait.
I'm with him on that one.
that's-
If you like apples, it doesn't matter what type of
I
apple
might
it
like
is.
a
You're gonna like
specific
that
apple though.
Yeah,
If-
right.
They both taste different. You got sour apples and you got sweet Fuji apples.
Right.
They're both apples, but
They don't
both
taste the same.
So let me
different.
ask you this.
They're
And
not
What-
both cannot grow in the same environment.
Exactly.
So hold on.
So-
Oh my god.
So these apples and oranges.
See,
Somebody else likes that apple, and let that somebody like that apple.
yeah,
That's okay.
yeah,
I
that's
don't
good.
think it
So
makes
why do we
them
I'm just saying we need to know.
It's
the
not my
truth
type of
about the
apple.
homosexual.
We just need to
how
know
do
the
you
truth about the
define-
apple.
We
Why
talked
we
about
gotta
this
be-
last week.
We
What is the
did.
definition of homosexuality, right? Let's look at it from that way. Because the question is, if a man is attracted to a female transsexual, that she's a female now, is he gay? Well, what is the definition then? How do you define? I don't think so. No, he is not.
I don't think so. Either.
It doesn't.
I think he
fit.
is.
It does
I
not
think
fit
he
the
would be
definition of homosexuality.
Misunderstandably bi.
going
Miss-
into the situation.
No knowledgeable bi.
And
And-
the
and
woman
how do you not
identifies
know-
Because if he doesn't, what if he doesn't know about it?
Dios
That's,
mío.
I wouldn't count that against him.
How he
But
not
you
gonna
still
know
call
about
him
it?
bi
Well, how he not gonna not know about it though?
What's up, bro?
because of the fingers. That's why the fingers on
No,
the
no,
hand.
not even that though.
He is
Like,
toasty right there.
The figure's not gonna be right though.
What? Who cares about the damn fingers? What if he doesn't have any fingers?
I didn't say
want
the
somebody
finger. I
to
said the
post
fit.
a link
I
or
said the
something
fit-
about
the
this.
fit-
Yeah,
the fit
I
is
need
not
to.
right.
Somebody do the research and find out if there's even any validity to this.
Fingers or not. I think the important thing
What
would be.
do you guys
I
think
think the
about
important
this?
thing would
Like,
be
if he has sex
is
with her, the
if he's
figure's
knowledgeable
definitely
of it.
right though.
I wouldn't necessarily call him gay, like by his knowledge of.
No, he just
not
respects
knowing.
that this human being
his-
told him, "Hey, this is what I
Right.
did to my body. You either love me for
But some
what I
people-
have,
But this is what we
or
talked
not."
about last week,
Yeah.
though. Some people lie.
Some
What we
people
didn't talk
don't
about last
reveal
week.
that.
The last time we did talk about it, some people
So,
don't reveal.
If
They're
those
not
two
truthful
people
about it.
happen to fall in love with each other, right, and then he finds out later, oh, this was a man the whole time. However, it's not a man; it's a
Well, how you not gonna
transsexual.
know though?
We talked about that.
Okay.
I'm still-
If you are what you are when you came out of the womb.
Right.
Here's my.
I
Even if you
disagree.
have the sex change,
Because somebody
the fi-
decided that a penis is a male and a vagina is a female.
Science
So-
is corrupt anyway. So what the fuck?
Exactly.
I just don't
That's
understand
like
why
saying if
we
I was
have
a
to-
clone, if I was cloned, like, oh, that's still TJ. No, that's a fucked up TJ. That's not the right TJ. No. Shoot that one. Get him out the way.
So-
That
leave the
reminds
real
me
one
of
alone.
that
My
movie, The
answer
One.
is no. No, and I don't think we should have to categorize relationships like that. If someone is in love and is in a genuine, respectful, loving relationship, who cares?
Basically,
It's none of my business.
what
We're
they
not
do.
talking about the status
honestly,
of the relationship. We're talking about the
Whether this
sexual-
man is-
You're categorizing whether this man
This
is gay or not.
Misgenderization.
Misgenderization.
Yeah.
misgentrification.
Yep. I just learned that about.
I can't.
Or what's the other one called? Gender dysphoria.
Yeah, I just made that up.
Gender dysphoria.
Gender dysphoria. I knew a Marine like that. It's very awkward.
Anyway,
That's
let's
I would say as
definitely
long
not
as
that.
truth is being told. Bam.
amen to that.
Truth.
Moving
above all.
on.
Moving. What? How much time we
I
got?
was like,
Ten?
definitely the fit wouldn't be right though. Definitely. Fit
We hit the.
We hit the bell
Yes,
already.
we
hit
hit
the
the
bell.
bell. That means we're moving on, right?
I'm still
you
looking
guys
at-
taught me that.
Love
the
is
bell
love,
means
y'all.
What you
Love
got?
is
You got
love.
something for us?
Thank you.
The mic is doing the weird thing again.
Love is love. That's all I gotta say.
So what are you coming into the new year? So the last show was what we were leaving behind, kind of, sort of, right? What are we coming into in the new year with respect to love, relationships, and sex? Since that's what the show's about.
Being open-minded.
What
A
does
lot
that
more.
mean?
Yeah, what that mean?
Being a lot more open-minded to like what's the possibility of your future with your significant other. Like what can I think a lot of
Babies.
times.
You need to stop.
Keep them devils out my
Mrs.
ear.
Lars gonna come in here and
Right? She gonna go upside your head.
Hola,
with
mamita
whatever.
bella.
But yeah, definitely I would say like being open to whatever possibilities may happen, whether it be good or bad. And being able to understand like, all right, if it's good, how to properly deal with it. If it's bad, how to properly deal with it. Because I think a lot of times when relationships are going on and there's a new year that's coming abroad, it's like, oh, well, we still haven't settled this, or some new trial tribulation comes about and you're caught off. You don't know exactly how to deal with it. So being open-minded to, hey, you know, if shit pops off, we got this. We can still do this. Like, we can still muscle through and do what we have to do as a couple.
So one of the things when we were talking earlier about this, and I was talking about, you know, when you first meet someone and you have this attraction with them, when it's physical, intellectual, emotional, you're hitting all those wickets. The last two things, because I couldn't sleep last night, so I wrote like the context of a book.
Someone else is writing a book.
I was thinking,
we all writing books around here.
So there are two other components that I think are really important in a relationship, and then sustainment, right? Sustaining the relationship, and then maintenance for the relationship. And sustainment to me means like, if I know that you are, one of the things that you find attractive in me is XYZ, then I want to sustain that for you, right? Because that's one of the things that you find attractive. Or if I know that
means gym memberships, people.
If I know that you have this financial goal, that I'm going to sustain that commitment to that. Maintenance for me means that if something, you know, falls off the brackets of the relationship, how are we going to repair it? Or what can we put into place so that the drop of whatever part of our relationship happens, it's not so heavy.
Or not necessarily having to repair. Sometimes it's what to necessarily let go too. Because maintenance can be like, hey, we need to take that part out.
Yeah, absolutely. And so like those last two components for me are also equally as important as the first two, which is what got you together, right? So I think when you're talking about being open-minded, it is about that sustainment and that maintenance piece in your relationship.
That's important. What, you was about to say something?
No, I wasn't. I'm about to say we got 2 minutes left.
Oh, I was going to say, stay out the DM. If you are trying to get to know someone, use the DM for, hey, what you doing? Let's meet up.
Yes.
And if the person can't meet up with you, let it go. Because you'll have this person DMing you and 5, 10, 15 other people. So 219, stay the hell out my damn DM.
Let's get back to face to face. Let's get back to face to face, yo.
Yes, let's have like real conversations.
Half the time DMs are a scam anyway. That's probably someone trying to get your credit card information.
Hell out my damn DMs.
Starbucks.
Wow, sick and tired of that shit.
Starbucks.
At
Starbucks.
Yes, let's have like real conversation, like face-to-face conversation where I can see your facial expressions.
That's what I'm trying to. That's what I'm starting to say.
Hear your tone of voice and
Don't make the assumptions.
Too many people think that DMing is like the maintenance, and it's not.
No, it's not.
Don't
not
text
even a little
me.
bit.
Leave me the hell alone. Don't text me. Call me. Let's set it up. Write a letter to me. Let's take it back.
Yes.
Write a letter?
Yes. I am old school like that. That would be the best act of gift.
A separate Instagram with a photo blog just for that significant other. Something like that would be interesting.
Whoa. You got some ideas right here, though.
2019. What are you bringing? What are you bringing into 2019?
Some new ideas.
You're gonna bring some babies?
That's
in the You're gonna bring some more? You know we're talking about babies.
No.
That's supreme Snapchat.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get though. Start walking around just with a towel on.
There is hope for you yet. There is.
That's awesome. I love it. I definitely the whole person-to-person contact thing is all about it.
Hell yeah.
Quality time and.
Yeah, I'm all about the towel though thing.
Quality time in the towel.
Ooh, okay. So I got a message in Spanish. La falta de atención mata la pasión. Para mantener una relación saludable debe haber una atención constante a las necesidades de tu pareja. So what that means is lack of attention kills passion. In order to maintain your relationship, a healthy relationship, one must. There must be attention, a constant level of attention that is necessary for your partner.
Thank you.
That's important.
Thank you.